All right, we just wanted to start off thanking everyone for coming out today, especially everyone that traveled all the way from Bloomington. Of course, you, Chancellor Allison, and everyone else that joined us. Thank you very much. My name's Killian Probst.
And Jeremiah J. Soul.
Timothy Clark.
Joanna Ritter.
And we are the Titans of Sustainability. We just want to say we have an awesome opportunity here. We have this amazing piece of land. Sustainability is such an important topic on campus right now. We feel like we have a lot of backing and a lot of people motivated to get involved. So, without further ado, we'll go ahead and jump into it.
Our goals were to design a unique method of developing and managing IUSB's urban garden. Our garden design is a student organized, and students will be engaged as the main cultivators, specializing in a sustainable hands-on approach that emphasizes the strengths and unique qualities of each area. The garden will offer hands-on training and experience in food production and healthy eating. Students, faculty, staff, and neighbors will be encouraged to take part in the gardening process. We would like to host neighborhood outreach events and have a place where school children could plan field trips. Environmental education will be available to everyone. I've personally spoken to Paula Stevens, a biology teacher at Adams High School across the street. She expressed interest in bringing her students over so to see what they could learn. I think that there's a lot of area schools that we could start to acculturate these values into kids younger and maybe do a little bit of recruiting for IUSB's programs and the sustainability program in general. Our hope is that the garden would also provide an outdoor recreational and relaxation area for the campus and the community. We imagine our garden as being an educational tool with something to offer each of our schools and departments at IUSB. Whether a student is involved in music, art, sustainability, business, or medicine, we feel there will be a place for them in their classes to be involved. All of our design elements aim to build a sense of community, to establish IUSB as a leader in the field of sustainability, and to deepen our connection to South Bend. Produce from our crops could be used in our on-campus cafes and cafeterias. A percentage of our crops could be donated to local food banks and charities. Our urban garden design aspires to promote community involvement, raise health and nutrition awareness, and inspire and educate youth and adults alike. We envision the master plan for our garden to be developed over time. Our model representing our garden is near scale, but does not capture the sense of serenity, beauty, and inspiration we imagine, which is why we've prepared the next slides to showcase our shared vision.
Our mission statement is the cultivation of a powerful relationship between plants, people, and education, a garden that will enrich lives and community. The biggest idea that we had was involving the community. It was the most important thing. Also, we thought that we would really like to include as many departments from IUSB in the garden. So that would mean, for example, the education department creating new classes, the Unity Gardens in South Bend, which is our community gardens. They already offer free classes in gardening, but it would be really interesting if we could develop new classes for the community as well. Yeah, that's it.
Food deserts are defined by geographic areas of poor access to healthy food. And on the left you see the area map of the food desert, and on the right you see a map of the local income areas. And it's important to notice that they have a socio-economic relationship, meaning that generally in areas of poor economic development, there will be food deserts. So it's important to donate any food that we may grow or sell it to provide people with food that they need.
And be able to educate them to produce their own food.
Yeah, it's just another way we can get the community involved. Go ahead and hopefully eradicate these food deserts. And this massive garden we're putting right in the middle of the food desert will hopefully accomplish that.
And these are the surrounding areas of where our students hail. I mean, this is Elkhart, Mishawaka, South Bend, Niles. You know, and it's definitely a problem in each of these areas.
Could you locate our campus on that map?
Our campus would be right around here.
Right around there. Okay. Thank you.
All right, the IU stone symbol walkway. If you guys know, it's kind of difficult to see from over there, but this would be the north side of the garden, south side over here. The main entrance is going to be on the north side, and it enters right in. Yeah, if you guys want to see that too.
Okay.
So the main entrance will be on that north side, and as soon as you enter into the garden, it's going to have the main IU symbol in garden boxes with hopefully red and white flowers to go ahead and emphasize the Hoosier pride and Titan pride. And then there's going to be walkways extending out from there and then winding through the garden. These walkways are going to need to be made of a material that's either concrete or stone, so there's accessibility for everyone. We want to make sure they're handicap accessible, children aren't going to get hurt, elderly can come and get involved in the garden. It's really a way that everyone can manage the garden, see the whole thing, and it looks aesthetically pleasing as well. As far as the walkways go, over some of these portions, we're going to try to do archways as well. You can do hanging gardens from there, different vine plants as well, and that'll provide not only functioning food, but also an aesthetic factor as well.
We also wanted to strengthen the connection to South Bend and our history with aerial signs. One of the world's largest living signs is located in Bendix Woods Park. It says Studebaker on the north side of town. They wrote St. Patrick's and pine trees. We'd like to put IUSB literally on the map for anybody flying over.
The cherry trees on the front end here, the north side, that just goes along also with the red and white aspect, and this is also producing a fruit that could be either used by us or just the animals that come in around, especially birds. The blueberry bushes over here on this side. We wanted to create a hedgerow because on this end of the garden there's a community, there's houses, and we thought that if the garden at the time in the fall when it turns, it may not be as good to look at for them as maybe it was in the summer. Some people maybe not into that. But it would create a hedgerow, but it would also be productive, so it would be creating all the blueberries as well. The birdhouses, we thought that they're spread out here randomly. But the birdhouses we could also involve as another class for children or even with our art students on designing new ways to encourage wildlife to come into our garden.
This area of the garden, we'd like to showcase innovative container designs, promote recycling, feature handicap accessible gardening, as well as ways to garden vertically. We'd like to feature designs for those who feel they're unable to garden due to space constraints, proving to visitors what you can accomplish in a small backyard or on apartment patios. The pyramid garden box designs are aesthetically appealing as well as allowing us to maximize space efficiency and provide more handicapped accessibility. These container designs are perfect for herbs, lettuces, or strawberries.
The stone circle gardening, I think there's an example of it right here, not on your map that you have. I think personally it's probably the most interesting part that could be interesting aspect of the garden. It's incredible raised space, it's sort of a container. It'd be really good for educating on companion planning, how it's important where we place things as far as rainfall, how much water something needs, how much sunlight something needs. Something at the top of the stone circle would need more light, less water. Things at the bottom, less light, more water. The raised beds, I don't know if you guys have walked over in the area yet. It's compacted, it's gravel. It's not really garden looking, so we thought raised beds would be a really good idea too. It's good for people who might have disabilities, people who are the elderly. It's hard to stoop down into that area. It keeps the pathways clear.
It also, having the raised garden beds, it also helps control the weeds. It helps control the insects and slugs that can get into it. It provides better drainage and sometimes allows planters to plant sooner because the ground is thawed and more drained earlier in the season. And it just will give us a nice, tight, controlled look as you walk through our garden.
We were thinking of a large, I mean, it doesn't have to be large, but relatively big space for a greenhouse. And it's important to have dome greenhouses because we can grow plants that are not native to here, so we can grow like different kinds of fruit. The compost is essential because we could use the food from the university grill, and then that way they don't have to throw it away. We could just go here and we could use that for the plants. tool shed is useful because we need to keep the tools someplace and the tractor
And this kind of back here was where the tool shed was going to be, dome over here. And there is an existing garage still on the property that could be used as a tool shed. If we wanted to save money and we were going to leave that there, that's an option as well. But we would need a space to keep everything and keep it on the property so it's available to everyone. But like we said, that dome wouldn't be too expensive, and we would be able to grow things in the winter. It'd be a seasonal thing, and we would be able to go ahead and plant everything earlier in the year as well. So we figured it'd be an important feature to go ahead and include as well.
Heirloom seeds. This is one of what I find to be one of the most exciting parts of the garden. Here's a few unique examples of heirloom seed varieties. This would be the Tutelo strawberry sweet corn, red in color, sweet, delicious, interesting. Traveler's tomato. You can actually pluck off one of those like a grape, let it heal back over and save it. This is the red noodle bean, and this is the loofah gourd, which could, once harvested, be used in the bath, showing people the different varieties of uses and the different varieties of heirloom seeds. These varieties are sure to spark interest and start conversations. It is our hope to see our campus to work directly with heirloom seed varieties and companies like Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds. Baker Creek works to supply free seeds to many of the world's poorest countries, as well as across the United States, to school gardens and other educational projects. It is their goal to educate everyone about a better, safer food supply and fight gene-altered frankenfood and the companies that support it. All of their seeds are non-hybrid, non-GMO, non-treated, and non-patented. Seeds as well as the seedlings could be cataloged, saved, donated, marketed to raise money for our garden as well as local charities. We could also provide seeds to low-income residents and even developing countries. We also thought it to be important to dedicate areas to preserving and maintaining Indiana's indigenous plant species. The flora of Indiana comprises over 170 plant families compared to 465 plant families worldwide. Indiana is home to 19 families of ferns, 4 families of conifers, and 147 families of flowering plants. Many are suitable and predictable enough for landscape use. Species such as the marsh milkweed, the butterfly weed, the aromatic aster and ironweed are also excellent host plants for butterfly larvae and to provide nectar to feed adult butterflies. Many of the herbs you see here on this slide have additional medicinal uses. We could plant many different varieties and provide education for use to treat a variety of ailments without the use of man-made chemicals. This area could also be used to teach a hands-on history of herbal medicine. We also have a good climate for planting ginseng and a variety of additional herbs.
So you can kind of see with the heirloom seeds and then also the native plants and medicinal herb garden, they'd all be on the south side here, but it just kind of goes with our theme of functionality where we are getting something out of it, but we can also educate the community and in a sustainable manner as well. So. Now, a solar powered fountain and pump, we'd have that over here on the east side, closer to the building that's proposed. Now this is going to be more of an aesthetic feature. We'll hopefully could put some fish in there, and it'll provide a space for people to go and relax and a little bit of a water to break up the monotony of the garden, but also another way to practice sustainable green power. So with the pump and the solar features over here. The solar features can provide an educational factor in the fact that we're practicing a green way of getting energy, and also it leads over to another pumping system that we'll talk about a little bit later for the rain barrels.
We were thinking of using a amphitheater on the east side to include the other students of the campus, such as like the music majors. And it might be possible to even have a summer in the park kind of thing, or a concert in the park. And it would also bring people from outside of the campus who may not, see it any other way.
So it's a great way to incorporate the rest of the campus and the community, and it'd be visually appealing. So the IUSB campus doesn't really have a large recreational area outside. It doesn't have a place for us to have a class outside. It doesn't have a place for us, without setting up all the various tents through the middle of it, to invite the community in. So we could showcase our musicians from the School of Racklin Music, and we could host events and raise awareness.
Yeah, it provides another way to get the community involved, entertainment value, education value, and a place for all IUSB students and the outside community to come and reside in one spot.
The solar pumps, so the building will be on the east side and we'll have rain barrels set up along it, which will be probably where the most of our water would come from. It doesn't really provide much water to the other end of the garden, so moving the water to the other side, the sustainable technology of solar powered pump, the pump that we were looking at can pump hundreds of gallons on one single charge. Another idea was the bikes, so it uses kinetic energy. Just another way also to involve the community. It's an interesting, fun little thing. They get on the bike, it pumps water, waters the garden. It's exciting, especially for kids.
Get a couple of them out there, maybe a spinning class.
Yeah.
You can do anything. Now this is just a rough estimate and some of the costs we featured into it. Obviously not all of the hidden costs and some of the smaller things that we'd get into aren't featured there. It's just a general thing. And then another thing we thought about was a lot of ways that we could eradicate these costs was donors and getting people from the community involved once again. Different hardware stores, Lowe's, Menards, get donations from them and then put plaques on everything they donate so that they get the recognition there. And it's probably a tax deductible anyway, so I don't see how it'd be too hard to convince them. And then also like stone walkway. Each stone we could do plaques on that, different trees, different benches, all the way throughout the garden. And it's an easy way to get a lot of this cost down to a more minimized thing.
This is also a retail price.
Yeah, retail.
This is how much it would cost me going
If we
to
walked
Lowe's.
into the store and went and did it. So it's obviously a little bit inflated. And it's not all things that have to be done this year and implemented right now. A lot of this stuff is stuff that could be done in the next 3-4 years. So that is our overall garden vision. Hopefully you saw some things you liked, take some ideas from it, but overall what we really want to emphasize is the education and getting people involved in sustainability, the plants and the people coming together. We want to go ahead and take the community, eradicate the food deserts, and find one place on the campus where everyone can come together and get behind a stronger relationship with plants, people, and the community. So, thank you.
Thank you for your time.